Hey gang, we're back. Another weekend on the 58. Get you up to speed on some things. Right now we're starting to assemble this 58 Fender here. It's the passenger side. Right now we wrapped up, we have the AC lines there. The evap is installed right there. Vintage air, thank you. So we have the lines coming through the kick panel. We made a little plate with grommets, so the lines pass through the kick panel, up through the firewall. They should come out behind the fender. We'll route them down to the AC where that's gonna sit. And so right now, we're just putting together this fender so we can mock it up on there. We've already powder coated the fender itself, inner fender itself, and then raptor line the inside. And we're in the process of finishing up, buttoning up the outside of it. And then we can bolt it on here, see where our lines are gonna sit. And then also today we have a PSI wiring harness. It's a standalone harness for the LS motors. They're pretty nice. We've used a couple of them, and we're gonna get that on the motor as well as find a home for the ECM. That's today's plan. I guess we better get busy. So we got the old AC pump off the motor. I'm going to come up with an adapter, or manifold. We're gonna put this manifold on here, and that way we'll have a place to connect our lines for the AC, and then we can start working on the plumbing stuff. So the next step, I think, for this, that bolted on, get the pump back in, and then see about putting the fender on, most likely, and then we'll start routing some hoses. Next step. Alright, I've got the new vintage air adapter manifold on here. It's for the, I think that's a 10 and a 6, I believe. Anyway, we got our line to go to the condenser, a line to go to the pump. So now we're going to slam this thing back in the car and see what we got for clearance. I know we're really tight here with the manifold. Hopefully we can make something work. If not, we have another version. It kicks us up into a 90 here. As you can see, we got the manifold in and pretty close to the exhaust manifold down here, but I think we'll be fine. We'll route those down, keep them away, but we'll check on clearance and stuff here shortly. I'll grab some fittings, kind of do like a little mock-up on it, and then yeah, see how it fits. Everything's going to be tight and everything's custom, so no bolt-ons here. I think that's our best option for that area there. If we came up sideways, I think we'd be right in that manifold there. Okay guys, I kind of played with a whole bunch of different fittings, AC fittings, because I do not have a lot of room in there between the pump and the exhaust manifold. So I ended up going with a straight fitting, and it's not a service port fitting. That way I can put the service port up a little higher, easier to get to. But it is paralleling that header pretty close down here, as you can see, maybe. Down here, I think I can hold that down, but I'm gonna run down to the auto parts store, get some heat sleeving to help protect it, and put that on there. But I think that's gonna work. The 45 kicked it off all weird. The 90 was too much, so straight it'll work, and then we'll figure out the other side and go from there. So I'll be right back after a quick run to the auto parts store. One cannot simply go to the auto parts store for one quick item and stand around waiting for somebody to check out without buying a bunch of junk. Oh, and a coffee, or a smoothie, I guess, at the coffee stand. Oh my goodness. All right, so we got a pile. I don't know, apparently we needed everything. So I got a bunch of different sizes here. DEI, this heat wrap stuff. Sure everybody's familiar with it, but bunch of different sizes. We're going to use that to help protect the rubber right there. against the heat from the exhaust. So I got this one kind of mocked up. That's going to work out just fine. I think what I'm going to do now, I will slip some of that heat wrap over the hose, and then fit the fender and start routing the hoses and see what we got to work with here. We have lines kind of pulled back out of the way right here. I got a few things to button up here on this fender before I can slam it on there. I got the little chrome piece here, and gather up some hardware and throw this fender on. Alright, bit of a wrestle here. Good news is I got tons of room back in here to route hoses. The bad news is I need to be able to access a charge port here. So with this coming straight out against the manifold, makes things really tight, but I think I got it. I'm going to pull it out and crimp it. That portion will be done. So and then the other line will go to the condenser and back over to the pump and all that good stuff. Right now, I'm going to pull that line out, I'm going to crimp it, attach it, and first step is done. Update. All right, so I got the line made. It comes out of there, routes down, and got it. Where's it at? Right there. So I got my fill port. I don't know if you can see it, but right there. I put the DEI heat sleeving on there to try to minimize burnage. I think we'll be good there. Next step, I am waiting for some booster brackets for the firewall, which I need, so I can start running some brake line. Guess I could do that after. It's a lot easier with the fenders off. And then my core support, I'm loaning to another project. That would be handy, but I think I'm going to throw on the other fender now and figure out where this ECM is going to live. But before I do that, it might be easier if I go ahead and string up this wire harness on here now, and then put it in there, because I can still kind of get around everything. So we'll start with that. I got the other side of the pump line in, decided to go ahead and do that, the number 8 line with the charge port in here as well. So now I got that line and then down there. Definitely tight, hard to get wrenches in there, but figured I'd better now than trying to dive over the engine bay or radiator or whatever to get to that business. So this here will go to the condenser, this will go to the dryer, and then the condenser, and it'll make a full circuit. And nice and cool inside is the hopes. So next, I think I'm gonna lay out the wire harness, see what I got to work with, and probably string that up on the motor. Trying to get down on everything that's in the engine bay now, so I don't have to crawl over stuff, which I will. Get the major part of it done. Let's get that harness out. The harness that we're using right now is from PSI. I think I already said that. So we got the ECM in here. This one's already been worked over for this car. The harness itself, we got right here. It's got the nice looming on it and everything. And then we also make these ECM boxes here in-house. We used one on a 66 Nova, was the last one that we used it on, but this ECM is a little bit bigger, so it's not going to work in there. My thoughts are maybe I can hide it inside one of these pockets here in the inner fenders when those go on. Anyway, we'll get this harness strung out and see how big it is, but get this motor dressed up with the wire, and then I got some fuel system stuff to do as well. Lots of stuff to do still. First thing you want to do is get the lay of the land with the wiring harness here. So I got this thing all strung out, and so business end, this is where it plugs into the ECM, passes through the firewall. This particular kit has this big old grommet here, so, and it slides throughout the harness. So wherever you decide to put that thing, it's pretty handy. It's already on there. You don't have to de-pin everything to slip something over, but you want to have a game plan, because you know all that's not going to fit through the grommet. So ideally this will be inside the car or wherever it's going, and you feed everything through and then to the engine. I already kind of went through this deal here to identify passenger, driver's side, all that stuff. So right here I got driver's side, got transmission harness here, so we have stuff like the injectors here. And going down, we have alternator stuff. What else do we got in here? We have, back here. Yeah, we got alternator, oil pressure gauge. There's mass airflow stuff. We have this pin here is for the O2 sensor. Transmission again. And then passenger side injectors. We got AC pump stuff in here. O2 sensor again. Yeah, I think the ECM is going to fit fine underneath the pocket of the driver's side fender. I think that's going to be my game plan right now. So I'm going to throw these O2 sensors in since I can get to them nice and easy. I guess I can get them from the bottom side too, but those are the easiest thing to do. I'm going to start with that and then figure out, obviously this is going to go inside the car. And these are going to be outside the car. I guess I could leave that in the engine bay as well. Plenty of room in there. I guess you want it to be dry, of course, so it's a nice dry spot. It's easy to get to. It keeps it from cluttering up under the dash. Plus, that thing's pretty massive. I think I'm going to put the O2 sensors on it. I already kind of fit the ECM right here, so where it's going to sit. I got to notch back this little flange right here so it can sit against the firewall. I got the hood hinge. It's going to come down, so I don't want to pinch anything, but at least that's back there, and I can run all the stuff right there. I might even be able to put the fuse panel right in here somewhere. Just kind of keep it nice and small, so, and easy to get to. So I can always use this side for reference in here as well. Let's get some O2 sensors and mount that ECM. PCM's mounted up over here, right there. I put some little riv nuts in here so it's removable. Also, you can flip this and a couple tabs and the whole thing comes out. If I need to take it out for whatever reason, I just don't have space inside the car, or I don't want it in there. But we do have fuse panel and some other wiring to tie in here, which we can pop a grommet in there and depin the fuse panel, mount that on the inside. I got the harness running down under the column to the back, so I'm going to get this all laid out here and start plugging it in. We got our water valve out here. We're gonna put in line with our heater hoses that we have coming out of the firewall. It's this little diagram here. So connect the motor, that guy right in line. It's got a fancy little arrow in it. And I think what I'm gonna do, this is our line right here. I think I'm just gonna snip that back there, put some clamps on it. And yeah, that should be fun. All right, got the heater valve put in back here, tucked away, routing that hose. I'm gonna come into the flow side. The small one here is what goes to the heater core, and that loops back around and will come back in here again. So the other hose here is snipped into place. I think this will be a good length. I can run it around, tie it up here, I think, kind of out of the way. So yeah, start connecting some hoses. Got the heater hoses all routed, coming out right inside the car. That part's pretty good. Just threw a quick clamp right here to help hold everything from jostling around. So yeah, things are moving along pretty good. I should tackle the fuel system, but I'm thinking I'm going to assemble this fender and get the other fender on. Maybe I should hold off on the fender. If I gotta put all that business through there, that could be a pain. Plus, I got brake stuff to do up here. Well, I'm gonna take a look at the fuel system stuff, see what I got, and check back in a second. All right, I got a Holley inline fuel filter and return. Since this is fuel injection, I already have a pump in the tank. Fuel will be coming from the tank in here to the engine, and it's self-regulated. What it doesn't use will come up and go right back into the tank. Now when I built the tank, I already had installed the lines going in and out of the pump, so I just need to find a home for this and then start connecting the lines. The two I have out of the tank will go return from the tank, and then I just put a new one from here, route it in here and come up to this guy here. So I got the adapter fitting to go to a 6 right here. I'll probably 90 it, go back, and then tuck it down and go back to the tank. So I'm gonna slide underneath the car here, try to find a home for this filter regulator, and yeah, go from there. Oh hey, yep, we're just underneath the car looking for a home for this Holley fuel filter. Show you what we got going on. Kind of see those two lines coming out of the gas tank right there. When we built this thing, we just made a little looper here. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, a little close. So we got this guy we need to mount in there somewhere. So I'm going to run this axle up all the way and make sure we don't have any clearance issues or anything like that. So we'll check back in a second. Got this filter regulator assembled. The brackets are still loose. I think I'm just going to tie this up underneath the body somewhere that I can get to easily. I got in and return, out, or in and return and out. So we'll just have to coordinate where they go, run the lines nice and clean. And I can run a long one up to the front here. So I'm gonna get that bottom cleaned up down there. It's got a bunch of undercoat and broken off ground straps and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get that tuned up right now, and then I'll get this thing mounted and start hooking up hose for the fuel line. All right guys, I wanted to spare you the dirty, boring, long task of mounting that fuel return filter underneath. I got the return line and the pump to filter line hooked up. I got a bunch of stuff made here. This will run from that filter. Man, I'm filthy. It was just raining dirt down there. Anyway, I'm gonna run this from the filter up to the motor. Then the fuel system is done other than wiring. So let's get that done. Got no class, all attributes. Now you know why I'm so filthy. This car is a mess under here. Well, so we got the inline filter here. This is your return. This here is what we're gonna hook the fuel line up to. And then that goes to the tank and from the pump. So I was able to fish it through, tuck it back in here so it's out of the way of the drive line. Kind of tricky on these X-frame cars. You would think you'd have all sorts of space to run stuff, but you don't. So anyway, I'm going to hook up this other end of the fuel pump and then we'll go to the motor side. All right, I'm done under here for a little bit. Now we're going to move on to the front. Fuel system is all plumbed. So we got our 6A in line going all the way back to the filter regulator. One more thing off the list. It's been a pretty productive day, I would say. Getting the fender put on, heater hoses routed, filter, ECM, all sorts of stuff. Still debated whether or not I want to throw this fender on. It would be nice to kind of make it look a little more complete. Then actually I could drop that radiator in there, start doing the plumbing on that end. Sure would be nice to get my brackets back. I need to hang that booster and see what's going on, but yeah, this sucker is coming along pretty good. Oh, I almost forgot. I got to show you these. So the reason why there's no headlights in there, I got to get some headlight adjusters. I can't leave anything alone. More handiwork here. So check. I got wood screws everywhere on this thing. Evidently, all the adjusters were broken out on this thing. Again, the more I look at this car, it's had so much handiwork done on it. It's mind-boggling. Trying my best to put it back together the right way, but I'm also under a deadline, so may not be perfect, but hey, the bar was pretty dang low on this one. We are getting closer to cruising, and I'm getting excited. Trying to think of the next step I should do on this. I know I need to do brake lines. I know the rear drums need rebuilt. I was gonna put disc on it at one point, but I got a drum rebuild kit. That'll be just fine. Got disc up front. Better than nothing. However, I am going to be tearing apart all the suspension. We got some good upgrades for that, and that'll be for another episode, waiting on a couple pieces to show up. And it's still going to be air ride, still going to lay out, all that good stuff. Man, I'm just itching to take this thing off the jack stands. And if I look at it from this point, squeak. Doesn't look half bad, almost looks finished, but yeah, I am about done eating dirt for the day, but I think I will drag out the other fender, get that set up. I got a few extra molding pieces. When I bought the car, these came with it. Guy said, hey, I got some cherry NOS trim pieces, and they're not. I went through, I have a pile of them. I went through, found the best one, threw it on there. It's not pretty. We can straighten and polish stainless, but I mean, still better than what was on there. I'm gonna drag out the other fender now. Sure, I'll find some awesome wood screws and whatnot on that one. And get that one all pre-built right now. Actually, I'll take you with me. I'm gonna go out to the old boneyard here. Got a bunch of junk, and I haven't taken you guys out there yet. Figure out this door. Oh. Do love that truck. Nice little driver. All right. So what do we got here? Stuff. I do have a 54 Pontiac. We did a 2-inch chop top on it. It was a customer's car that we started. It's all been sandblasted. Really complete car. It's for sale, or we can build it, whatever. But this is what I'm after right now. That's the poor old hood. It's seen some better days, but I'm gonna drag this thing inside, and oh man, look at that molding. That's nice. Don't look, don't look, don't look. All right, here's the two moldings. So this is the new one, top, and though it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, it is still far better than the original one. So I don't want to spend a bunch of time straightening and polishing on this thing. I did run it through the stainless polisher just to kind of shine it up a little bit, but she's lumpy, but yeah, it'll be just fine. I'm gonna pop off the other one here, move the clips over, bolt that one on, reassemble the inside, and then we'll see what happens from there. Dirt all in my face. Molding went on okay. Clips. Yep. It's got lots of body filler in here. Nice little drag mark across here. Oh, but this side's fine. I'm gonna start putting this thing together, Did notice I had a broken bolt right there. That's awesome. I'm gonna drill, tap that sucker out. This one here looks all stripped out. Right on track. Get that cleaned up, get the inner fenders and bracing on there, get it built out. Kind of like this guy here, and yeah. Decide whether or not I'm gonna put it on or not. Still up in the air. Guys, I'm gonna grab the drill out this broken off bolt here, and then I got to hop up there, grab that inner fender for this, and start peter out today. It's been a long day. About 7:30 here right now. And get busy drilling some holes. Let's do it. And another broken bolt on here. Right here. Trying to put this grill here together. Guess I'll be drilling that one out now. Well, that was super awesome. We got all the fender together. It was a little beat. Broken bolts, you name it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on the car now. It'll probably come back off, but more temporary. I wanna make sure that ECM fits in there. Let's throw the sucker on. Guys, that's gonna do it for tonight. Maybe I'll be back in tomorrow. We'll see. Pretty long day today, but man, I feel good about what I got accomplished today as far as my checklist goes. Oh yeah, it's looking more car-ish. I gotta get the headlight adjusters for those, and I can build that assembly, and I can hang the core support once I'm done. Once I know that I'm done working in here. Yeah, so ECM's tucked away back in there. Actually quite a bit of room in there, so that's good. And the hood hinge will sit right here and kind of hide all that. That's good. Fuel systems all ran, returns done, hoses, AC, a whole bunch of fun stuff. I do still need to run brake lines. I guess that'll be the next fun one, is pulling brake lines from the back up to the front. I don't have the parts yet to hang the booster. I should get those next week, and then I can wrap up the brake side of things. Good progress. Looks like a car again. I can't wait to get it on the ground again. Getting tired of it being on jack stands. Living on jack stands. Till tomorrow. See you guys. Good afternoon, guys. I am back and coming in this morning after a long nighter yesterday. I was here till about 9-ish or so. Which is pretty good. I haven't thrashed like that in a while, so feels good, but this place is destroyed. So I'm gonna start off this morning, just gonna get everything cleaned up, and then maybe put together a list. Lists are good. Kind of give me an idea what I have to do still, what I need to get, but it's moving along pretty good. Happy with everything. Probably gonna move it next door to the rack next week, and then button up some brake line stuff underneath, see how that goes. But for now, I need to get cleaned up. All right, guys, all cleaned up, much better. I just had to pick up some tools. It got crazy in here. Anyway, I drug down some stuff from above that I still need to put in. I have a low car throttle cable, a little bracket for the throttle cable. I need to go on. Basically the drive-by-wire. This bracket goes away, bolt on the new one. Running there, I got a pedal coming. Also have these hood hinges. I'm gonna throw them in the blaster, get them cleaned up. Headlight stuff is ordered. Header bar kind of goes between the two. I may grab my core support and get that mounted on. But it is pretty dang nice having that all open right there, I have to say. So maybe I'll hold off on that for a little bit. But I know I got the rear bumper. I got another one I've been hoarding. It's in pretty decent shape, at least better than the one I have on there. I think I'll get that cleaned up. Yeah, getting down to it. We definitely are getting close to doing the full wiring on it. For wiring on this car, we're doing full American Auto wire, full system there, and then Dakota Digital gauges. That's about it. No stereo yet. Stereos are nice, but function first. Plus, this LS should be making some sweet music of its own. I'm gonna work on getting some bits and pieces together. Cable in, that went pretty quick. Put on this little adapter bracket here, cable. I'm not cutting it to length yet, but I'm gonna route it down to the pedal when I get that put in. So I'm eyeballing this space right here. I'm thinking about putting a York style onboard compressor for the air management on this car, or at least the air pump. The air management will all be Airlift Performance. We've run a lot of those systems and have pretty good luck with them too. Yeah, but the engine driven compressor is quieter and faster, and then putting electric pumps in, you know, which are fine too. If I can make it work, I'm gonna try running that setup on here. We got some brackets to fabricate and stuff like that. I think for right now, I'm gonna drag out that bumper, get all the hardware soaked on that. Got a bunch of brackets and stuff to blast. I can add to the pile with these. We'll get them either epoxied or powder coated. Probably just epoxy. The list is getting smaller. I need to make a list. The mental list is getting smaller. So this bumper is actually in better shape than the one that's on the car. It's not in great shape. I had it laying around. It's a one-piece bumper, which is kind of cool. I think it'll clean up good enough for what I need. This part right here is a little tweaked. It's got a dent here and a yank there. And unfortunately, they don't make them for that, as far as I know. I know that they make the front ones for every other 58, but being it's a wagon, what is that? A little torch mark or something through there. Yeah, tweak there. At least I think it's better. Looks like it's straight. I don't know. This other one here was pretty mangled. Yeah, it got smashed into there. I think it's a 3-piece. I think I'll give this one a go, get it cleaned up. I may just leave all the brackets on it, save myself some work, but I would like to put this thing in the press and see if I can't push this thing straight again. I don't know. Looks like that part is supposed to be welded and it's not. Great. Yeah, looks like it must have broke loose right here. Guess it wasn't on there very well at that point. Yeah, this one's all welded. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Probably mess up the chrome on there if I get it too hot, so. But it needs to be on there. I think I'll spend some time. It's looking worse and worse all the time. Anyway, I think it's still better. And I think I'll spend a little bit of time trying to straighten it out. Maybe get it put back together. That should be fine. Bumper's on the table here. I'm gonna try straightening out a couple little spots, reattach this down here, straighten some of this junk out here, and then I'll probably move it over to the press and push out some of that other stuff on there. So see what this bumper lets us do. Got the brackets all welded in here, top, bottom, minimal heat on there, which is good. Looking at this other bracket here, I was able to get some of that bow out, but there is a mark in here that I can't get to without moving this back brace here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off some of this stuff anyway and replace it all. Use license plate bolts obviously, but once I get this bracket off, I can get to this lower panel and then really try straightening it out. Then it shouldn't look too bad. And then I can paint it or whatever, reassemble this bumper. Plus I noticed this bracket took a pull on it too. It's all tweaked. I didn't get a chance to get that all straightened out. Let's try this bumper apart. Alright, I got all that cut off there. I decided to cut it off because I had clutch bits in it and they were already stripped out, so why fight it? Cut them off. I'm putting all new hardware in it anyway. So this is the back side of the bracket I was trying to get to. This is, you probably can't see too well, maybe. Yeah, it's pushed up pretty good. Got hit right there. I'm gonna attempt to save this guy here, or at least make it look a little better. And then I can get all that blasted and epoxied and everything sealed up nice. I'm gonna try straightening this thing out and yeah, put it back on. All right, that worked out pretty good. I got this thing pretty straight. It was pretty mangled. Anyway, press pulled it around pretty good. Look for any other pieces that might be tweaked. Throw on there while it's apart. This thing here is actually pretty bowed out. I think I'll go ahead and put the press on that real quick. Try to get that straightened out as well. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this weekend. I got a pile of bumper parts that I need to sandblast and epoxy. That's so I can get the rear bumper together. The front of this thing's coming together, waiting on some parts for that. I'm going to go ahead and keep all this open right here so I can get into there and we get the wiring situated, but and the brakes and all that stuff there too. So gotta run all fresh brake lines on here. That won't take too long, but yeah, some good progress this week. I think I'll get it moved over next door and onto the rack here shortly and button up some stuff on the bottom. The drive-line's still out getting built, and yeah, hopefully be cruising here this summer or sooner. I guess it is summer. Oh well. Anyway guys, thank you for joining me on another edition here of the 58 wagon build, and I do appreciate everybody's support. Don't forget to like and subscribe.